Oh hello, welcome to another Tweedy Outdoors video. This is a very unplanned, last minute impromptu sort of video. They probably all are, aren't they? I thought I would come and explore a bit of the South Downs I haven't seen before. I'm right on the edge of Brighton. I've just crossed over the A27, the din of which you can probably hear, which sort of forms a boundary containing the urban sprawl of the big city. And as soon as you get over that, you're into open downland. And that's where I'm going to go and have a wander around today. This is going to be a stretch of the Sussex Border Path, which from here near the A27, can you see it snaking off in the distance over there? Heads out of Brighton to the north. I think the Sussex Border Path is the border between East and West Sussex. So as far as I'm concerned, that's an artificial modern geopolitical divide. Sussex is a kingdom in its own right. Getting all Bellockian now. And anyway, yes, Sussex Border Path. I'm going to follow this up to, I think it will connect with the South Downs Way. Probably walk as far as Hassocks today. I'm testing out a much lighter than usual, horrible, cheap backpack. I picked this up when I was down in, was that Hazelmere, Petersfield, somewhere like that, a while back. It's something like a 12 or 15 litre bag, but I've been able to get stuff in here, you know, all the just in case stuff I need, like waterproofs and that. I don't think it's actually going to rain, but also a very compact cooked set and some very basic lunch. So hopefully at some point later on, I can find a spot to do a bit of cooking, have something to eat. It's not going to be lunch, it's going to be dinner, sorry. I did stop off in Brighton briefly and revisited somewhere I had been to 13 years ago. It's a fish and chips place in the back streets of Brighton called Bardsley's. And they now serve a vegan fish and chips, which I was curious to try. I would say it was okay. Did have a slightly sort of seafoody kind of flavour to it. Afternoon, ladies. How are you all doing? Chewing the cud there. Afternoon. These cows are small and those cows are far away. Afternoon, ladies. I've just passed the Chattri Memorial. This is to remember the Indian soldiers who fought in World War I. Many of them were hospitalised and spent time in the Brighton Pavilion, and I suppose architecturally the Chattri Memorial is a sort of slight continuation of that. I'm reminded of Rupert Brooke and his famous words, "Some corner of some faraway land will be forever England." And I suppose we have something like that here for those brave men of India. So here I am on the Sussex Border Path. Beyond that first area of open access land, it comes into some farmers' fields here. I don't know what this crop is. I can already see the Jack and Jill windmills over there. Probably you can't. It's all a bit Hitchcock in that direction. And then a bit Jilly Cooper in that direction. Not sure which is more menacing. Lovely hawthorn tree at the boundary of this field here. Of course, I wish I had Mr. WC21 with me right now for some real professional gate opening and closing. Very amateur job there, I'm sure he'll agree. Lovely view of Paiku Golf Course down there, nestled among the downs. Wolstonbury Hill over there. Does look quite tempting today, but that means going downhill and going back up again and feeling a bit lazy. I'm onto the South Downs Way. Always nice to be back here. It's nice because when I'm on the South Downs Way, I often see these signs for public bridleways or other footpaths heading off it, and I wonder, where does that go to? And now I know it goes to the Chattri Memorial and then on to Brighton and the A27. But I think for the time being, I'm going to head on to go and take a look at Ditchling Beacon. It's always nice to see, especially as I've done the work to get up here. It's annoyingly nice weather. I was hoping it would be grim and raining and therefore there would be no other people here, but I'm having to share it as a result of all this hideous blue sky and sunshine. I hope the farmer won't mind me picking one up to demonstrate. I will put it back down again exactly where I found it. There you go. That, I think, is a mangel wurzel. Looks pretty appetising, doesn't it? Oh, there's a big cow pat there as well. Very iconic, photogenic dew pond. Not that far from Ditchling Beacon now, I think. Ripples from the wind on the surface of the water there. Nice reflection of the sky. Some sheep off in the distance that, unlike my previous visit, don't look quite so computer generated. It must have been something about the particular light on that occasion. Very hard to walk past this without taking a bunch of shots of it. It's just such an eye-catching composition, isn't it, with these windswept trees and the dew pond and the blue skies and the rolling hills and so on and so on. I think this is once again that little cluster of tumuli barrows. Lovely views from down here. They look better to me than they will on camera, but I have better zoom in my eyes than this camera has. This is the spot where I sat earlier this summer. Well, not that it's summer now, you know what I mean. In the summer earlier this year, that's what I was trying to say. The corner of the field with those amorous cows who forced me to make a tactical withdrawal. I think I ended up sitting somewhere up there to eat my noodles that I'd cooked in the corner of this field. Arresting views though, I hope you'll agree. What a satisfying word that is, arresting, when used in that context. Are you getting bored of all the sweeping views of the English countryside yet? I'm certainly not. Shall I go and tap the old Ditchling Beacon trig point? Hope that's in shot. Just using this silly little tripod. Not even a tripod, stand. There we go, top of Ditchling Beacon. Let's go and look at the car park, see if the ice cream van's here. Seems to have been a successful endeavour. I'm not actually particularly hungry, but you know, when in Rome, when in Ditchling Beacon, do as the people of Ditchling Beacon do. I don't know, doesn't make any sense. I've had my ice cream. I've wandered away from Ditchling Beacon. Why is it they run away as soon as I get the camera out? Very disappointing. Nice couple of, I think, parasol mushrooms there. As always, don't take my word for it, but they are pretty big. Perhaps I can put my hand in for context. Bigger than the span of my hand, pretty much. I found a nice spot to sit, and I have opened up some wine. Here's a quick glimpse of the wine I brought with me today. I will do a wine with, what is it called? Burgundy with Tweedy review if you want to know the details. It's good old Gavinier, it's a Nuit Saint-Georges, a Premier Cru. And if you can't be bothered to listen to the whole tasting notes, who has time for that? Then it's just very nice. I have sort of a view of hopefully where the sun is going to set in that direction over there. I have a lovely gorse bush behind me, which is always nice. And then over in that direction I can see some relatively far-reaching views over and beyond Hassocks there. England's green and pleasant land and all that, and I suppose that's the North Downs on the horizon. I should be showing you this rather than talking, shouldn't I? Can I get a satisfactory shot of the old boot trick? No, it's going to be all silhouette-y, isn't it? Is that any better? Staring off into the distance a bit. I've been trying to get some pretentious pictures of the wine in the foreground and the sun in the background there, but they seem to come out better on my phone actually. Perhaps I can put a bit of some sort of overlay, TM. Copyright WC21 brackets UK Productions Limited. Here's an update on the current state of the sun. I thought while I'm out here I am going to try an incredibly basic dinner. I'm sorry, this is probably one of my most unambitious outdoor cooking feats of all time. I've decided to go back to using the good old BCB stove, but I've run out of those little fuel blocks. So what I did have, I found in a box, was some of this, the slightly more gel form, the kind of pourable one. Very, very simple, just pasta. I have a tiny little jar of pasta sauce. All I brought out is this tiny bag, and I think the capacity is something like 12 or 15 litres. And I was just intrigued to see, rather than bringing along my usual backpack, a backpack I'd use for camping to put in kind of shelter and sleeping bag and all that kind of stuff, could I fit everything I need for a daytime outing with some outdoor cooking, including of course the obligatory bottle of wine. This is still Tweedy outdoors. Could I fit it all in this tiny bag? And the answer is, you know, yes. And it would be even more compact if I had the solid fuel, but I have the BCB stove there, which is pretty compact. The little bottle thing there is a bit bulky, but it would be better with the blocks. All the actual food slash cooking pan type stuff is in here. This is my billy can. Have a spork wrapped up in a bit of kitchen roll, lid there, small jar of tomato and truffle sauce, and some pasta. Got a bit of water on the side there, so I thought that was a nice compact setup for, you know, the luxury of having a bit of hot food in an outdoor environment. But on this occasion it's absolutely nothing fancy, it's just pasta and sauce essentially. Got a bit of cheese I can add to it as well there. This isn't really an ideal location because it is a little bit windy and open here. Decided to find a slightly more discreet spot to do my cooking so no one comes and asks any awkward questions. Found this nice little clearing amongst the gorse bushes, which actually interestingly does align a little bit at least with the sunset, so I think I can just about make enough space to sit down comfortably there. Put a bit of that gel fuel into there. I think that might probably be about enough water, maybe. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully that's pretty easy to get going. There we go. I wonder if it might be prudent to put some pasta in before the water has fully come to the boil, because there's some heat there that it might want to take advantage of. That is the current state of the billy. I've got to add, I did also bung in some soya chunks. No one needs to hear that. for a bit of protein. This is obviously not the way I cook pasta at home. I'm pretty diligent about letting the water come to the boil and then giving it the exact amount of time it says on the packet so it's perfectly al dente. But here in the midst of a gorse thicket, you do have to make some compromises. I think I might be missing the official moment of sunset here, hiding in a gorse bush. Nice and sheltered in here, so this is getting a decent throw of the dice, whatever the phrase is. That is definitely cooking. I'd set the camera a bit further back so you can get the full effect of the ridiculous gorse bush setting. Not very Keith Floyd, is it? Bit difficult to control the temperature on this. I reckon the pasta is about there now, so I think I can blow this out with the blocks. You can just give it a short, sharp blow. There we go. Magic. Let's drain off some of that liquid. This sauce is one of those stir it in with the pasta sauces. So I think I can just empty that out in there, or I could always give this another little burst. There's enough heat in that can there to warm that sauce through. Well, I've quite possibly missed whatever the peak moment of sunset might have been. There's still some sort of light remaining, but it is a little bit cloudy on and off, so oh well. But I thought I'd come back to a more open spot to enjoy actually eating this strange meal I have made. It's probably gone cold in the interim. Oh, terrible camera work time. There we go. I'll prop it up and turn you the other way so we can do a taste test. I should add, this isn't a pocket square, it's just a bit of kitchen roll. I bought this cheese because I thought Parlick Original, it's called pure sheep's milk cheese. I sort of imagined it might be a little bit like a pecorino, and that seemed like the sort of thing one might have with this tomatoey, truffly, pastry thing that I made. I didn't bring any knives or any other form of cutlery other than the spork. That's the best I can do. That is like a pecorino. Probably would be quite nice grated on this truffly pasta. Alas, I don't have a grater with me, so let's give this a go. The pasta is nicely cooked. Those soya chunks you're probably somewhat unimpressed by are also nicely cooked. I would say that truffle pasta sauce has a slight hint of something a bit artificial. The tomato component of it I have no complaints about. The truffle aroma in there is a little bit like synthetic truffle, if I'm honest. I mean, that has made a nice hearty dish. What I liked about it was very compact. I didn't have to cook that pasta sauce for a bit of, extra time. Didn't need a second pan or anything like that. And I have warm food on what is now a slightly chilly, slightly breezy hilltop that's starting to get dark. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with that. Absolutely not an interesting gastronomic episode, but I thought it was nice to be able to make this warm meal in a not very warm environment now, using this very compact cooking setup. And that wine is delicious. This is my poor excuse for a greater, there we go, shavings of what I'm calling a sort of English pecorino. Try not to knock over. This probably looks very unsightly, doesn't it? Parlic original, I would buy that again. Not sure I would buy this pasta sauce again. I've given this another bit of a warm through because it was starting to get a bit tepid. I suppose that's a nice thing about having the Firedragon fuel in gel form. You can just sort of spoon a little bit of it out. Just put a tiny amount there, rather than the blocks where you sort of have to use a whole block at a time. Really lovely now. It is about 6:30. The sun apparently set almost half an hour ago. I don't think there is much chance the moon is going to come out in any reasonable way in this shot, but it looks beautiful to me with my non-digital eyes. This is more what I wanted from the South Downs Way. Nobody here now, practically deserted, and it's slightly challenging, it's windy, it's cold, it's dark. I am finally heading back to Hassocks. That moon at my back is absolutely beguiling. I know I can't take any kind of adequate footage of it, but you're just going to have to trust me. I have reluctantly put on the light attached to the GoPro. Always kills the mood a bit, but there we go. Better than falling down a hill. I'm not sure if you actually want any more jerky nighttime footage of me walking through the woods, but this is I suppose towards the lower end of Kima Down now. Well, it looks like I've come out onto Underhill Lane, taking a shortcut now around the outskirts of Clayton. This is the edge of Butcher's Wood, which is in turn on the edge of Hassocks. This is now the familiar to me path that runs along the railway line for that final approach to Hassocks. Okay, I've made it back to Hassocks. Bit of a random walk today, not particularly well planned, but I enjoyed it. Hope some of that was of some vague entertainment value. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.